Hi guys, how are you? Welcome back to my channel. So my name is Jocelyn Omondi, and today's video is going to be basically about making candles. Which equipments do you need when you're starting off your candle making business, or you just want to make candles at home? So I'm just going to share with you some basic equipments which you are definitely going to need. So basically, the first thing you're going to need is a pouring pitcher. A pouring pitcher is like the container in which you're going to put your wax in when you're going to melt the wax. So I'll definitely share with you guys the process of making candles later on in other videos, but right now just doing the basics. Where do I start from? So as I've mentioned, the pouring pitcher is like the first thing you're going to need. Mainly they're usually like made of aluminium, and some I've seen which are made of plastic. It's better to use the ones with aluminium because you know, the heat content and also the fragrance which you're going to add into the wax is going to be very strong, and it can melt through the plastic. So next thing you're going to need is, if you have your cooker, like if you're making the candles in the house, then your cooker is going to be sufficient. Just make sure like you don't make your candles the same time you are cooking, because you don't want to mix those two together, because you know some of these things are not edible. But anyway, the second thing is that source of heat, or alternatively you can use an electric heater, which would also be quite good for you to use because it's portable. Like you can use it anywhere, like if it's any room which you want to move in and make your candles, then the electric heater would definitely be more convenient. The third thing definitely which you're going to need is a thermometer. Like everything you do in candle making process you have to take the temperature of the wax at very different stages. So you can use like the laser thermometer, or you can use like the industrial thermometer. So any of those can work, just depends with what you want to, you know, use or what works for you. Personally, I just use like one of the industrial thermometers and it works fine with me. The problem with using like the laser thermometer is sometimes it can give you something which is higher, but at the same time it has its pros and cons. Sometimes like other people like it because they say it's accurate. So again, it just depends with what you want to use and what actually works for you. So then the other thing is scale. So in candle making, everything you do is weight. So if it's a fragrance oil, you have to weight. If it's the wax, you'll have to weight. So everything you do is based on weight and not volume. There's a very big difference. So you'll use like a kitchen scale to measure your wax. That is convenient, it's sufficient. Or alternatively, for the fragrance oil, because sometimes you can use decimal points, or rather when you're calculating the amount of fragrance oil you're supposed to use, sometimes it can come in decimals. So using a gram scale is more accurate compared to like the kitchen scale when measuring your fragrance oil. So I think, yeah, that's something important which we should definitely take a note of. And then the other thing which we need are wick holders. Wick holders are basically so important because when you've poured in your wax and your wax is curing in your containers, you want to ensure that the wick is straight and it's supported with wick holders, so that when you're burning the candle, it's not like on the side, because that could be a safety hazard. So it's best if you have a wick holder which holds the wick central and it does not move. So when it's curing, it cures like literally at the center. Then another thing which we are going to need in our equipment is the fragrance holding cup. So basically fragrances by nature can be very harsh, and especially if you're like making a scented candle. So it's best if you use like a glass container. Personally, I use a glass container when making my candles, because if you use like a plastic container, as I said, it would definitely just seep through it, and it's just going to be a mess, and it's just going to pour, like it's just going to like make a hole through, and it's just going to be a disaster, and you would have wasted your money, because fragrance oils are quite expensive compared to all your other equipments in your candle making process. So then another thing which would be important for you to use is like something to stir your wax in, especially if you've already added in the fragrance oil, something to stir your wax and the fragrance oil together. You can use the wooden skewers, the ones like for making meat or like roasting meat. That would be okay, because like it's wood. You don't want to use plastic, because again it will seep through. So the wooden skewers would be quite appropriate, because I use those ones and they've not given me any problem so far. And even if like I use it for different scents, like, you know, it's okay. It really hasn't really given me any problem. Then another thing which would be quite important, of course, your containers. Like where are you going to put your candles? So you can use different types of containers, just depending with the type of candles you want to make. There are so many types of containers, and it's best at least to get containers which are sourced locally. Personally, the containers which I'm using currently were not my first choice, because they are not available like back at home, like in my country. So I just used containers which also look good, but they're easily accessible locally, because if you keep on looking for containers that you have to ship all the time, sometimes it can mess you. Sometimes shipments do delay, and it's not really your fault, but like, you know, that's just how the game works. So yeah, just get containers which you can easily source locally. I think that's the advice which I could give. Then another thing which you would need is like a glue gun, or you know, just something to make you put your glue to the wick itself. Sometimes you don't necessarily need the glue gun. You can use the wick stickers. Personally, I use the wick stickers because I find like they are okay, and they are easy to use. But I think I will graduate to a glue gun, because I feel like it holds the wick better, you know. So yes, as a beginner, like just get what works for you. They're both cheap, and yeah, it's quite affordable. So the other thing definitely which you're going to need is your wax. Like, you can make candles without wax. Like, it's like also very important to have in your equipment. So basically there are different types of waxes. There's paraffin wax, there's soy wax, there's coconut wax, there's beeswax, there's palm wax, there's parasoy, a mixture of paraffin wax and soy wax. So it just depends with you and what you want to use in your brand, or like if you're just making candles at home. Personally, I use the soy wax wax. Yes, I use the soy wax because of its natural properties. It's for me, I've had so many complaints about like the soy wax or something like that in like different people's businesses. For me, it actually does work, and I thank God for that, because I tried my first candle making and it was amazing. Like it didn't really give me any problem so far, and I was happy with the result. And there's also rapeseed wax, which is also a good type of wax. I've tried it personally. It has a good scent throw. Gives a lot of nice hot throw, like when you burn the candle. So hot throw is basically when you burn the candle, that scent, the scent it releases, or the fragrance it releases when it's lit. That's it. So basically, having a good type of wax which is convenient for you would be good. Personally, for me, I do not like the paraffin wax because I feel like when I burn it, it gives me some type of headache. And actually, that was one of the reasons why I was like, okay, we need to have better type of candles. So for me personally, paraffin wax just doesn't work for me. It just gives me a headache, and that's why I chose to use soy wax instead. So another thing which you're going to need if you're making scented candles, then you're going to need your fragrance oils. As I mentioned, fragrance oils are the most expensive thing in all these equipments, but like there are many places where you can get your fragrance oils from, but at least make sure like your wax and your fragrance you're getting from a candle supplier, because these two, especially because there's some types of fragrances which don't go with specific waxes. Like I know for soy wax, the citrusy scents really don't do so well with soy wax. So it's best to do your research and know exactly which type of fragrance oil you're going to use for your wax and for your business. So yes, and another thing which we are going to need are like the wick trimmers. Sometimes people use scissors, it's convenient, but like yeah, just get like a wick trimmer to like just be consistent and chop off goodness, not chop off, but like just cut your wicks. Yes, that is good, that's important. Another thing which you're going to use are like the wick stickers, which I earlier mentioned. If you're not going to use the glue, then you can find the wick stickers. They're also quite affordable. They come like in packs, so you can like just have them and remove the sticker, put it on the wick, and then put it in the container. Very convenient and very easy to use. Another thing which we are going to need are paper towels, because everything you need to wipe off. If anything pores, you have to wipe it off. And then also you'll need rubbing alcohol to wipe off all those surfaces, and especially also cleaning your pouring pitcher. You'd need those two, which works very well. So another thing which we are going to need is a calculator. First of all, I never knew that candle making comes with mathematics, but it does come with mathematics, and it's not that hard type of mathematics, but like it's okay. Like it's math which you can definitely do. So you need like a calculator. You can use your phone. I use my phone. I've not like bought a separate calculator specifically for that, but maybe I could, because sometimes you're catching wax, you're catching fragrance, all those kind of things. So it would be best to just get a calculator if need be. Then the last thing which we would definitely need is gloves. We would need gloves because sometimes you would end up touching things, or like especially like if you're making wax melts. Like I'm using one of my wax melts over here right now, and it smells so good. Oh my goodness, it just smells I wish y'all could smell it. But like if you're making wax melts, it's best for you to have gloves on, because you're literally going to be touching the wax melts because they're coming from the molds. So when you're removing that process and also doing the packaging, you will definitely need gloves so that you can protect your hands. And it's also best because you don't want to touch other things and then touch your mails, and then you're going to sell it to your customers. So you just for sanitary purposes. So basically that's it for this video. I hope you have all learned something and enjoyed this video. If you have any comments, questions, just feel free to leave me a comment. I will definitely respond to your concerns, and we will be sharing more videos like this. So please do not forget to share, like, and subscribe, because this helps my channel to grow. And I do hope you guys have a lovely week. Bye.